Are we working on Vimeo, Twitch? What websites work? Okay, YouTube seems to be going now. Let's see if Twitch works. Hey everybody! This gets my recording of this started now that the stream seems to be working. Okay, record in Vegas, record in Open Broadcaster. All right, everybody, how's it going? So we're going to go over a few things before we get to our standard day of repairs. The first thing is that I realized that my problem here is actually threefold. A, Spectrum Business seems to allow me to upload SSH FTP to my apartment at the full 20 megabit per second. However, when I upload to YouTube, funny how that 20 megabit per second starts lagging until I put the stream below 3 megabit per second. So I got myself a VPN here. Several of you know that I was trying to set up a VPN for the entire store yesterday, and I was trying to set up the VPN for the entire store via the pfSense router. I followed all the instructions and tried to set it up, but unfortunately, I'm not very intelligent, and because I'm not very intelligent, it didn't work. If any of you would like to help me set up a VPN with pfSense and you'd like some extra money and you know what you're doing, my idiocy will be your money. Email me at lewis@rossmangroup.com and give me some idea of some credentials of some sort that allow me to feel a little safe that if I give you a login to it, you're not just going to destroy my entire infrastructure. But so I would like somebody to help me set up a VPN for the entire store. I got a private internet access thing over here. It's actually pretty good. So this is my VPN thingy, but I'd like to have it not just for my computer, but for the entire store. I followed their guide on setting up a VPN, and when I would go to check whatismyip.com, it would still show my IP. So clearly I screwed something up, but I'd love to get my pfSense router set up with the entire store. So the VPN, that was the first section of it. The second side of this was that the ISP sucks. So as I've told you guys before, I've got a couple of different things going on here to try and I've got a couple of different things here so that if one internet connection goes down, I'm not totally screwed. So I have, what was I saying? Yeah, so I had it set up where I had Verizon, DSL, and Time Warner cable, because if my Time Warner cable went down, I still wanted to have something. The reality of how this wound up working is that not only is my Time Warner cable complete garbage, so in spite of the fact that my traffic seems to be being throttled to some extent because I could upload to home at 20 megabit per second, I couldn't upload to Google more than 3 megabit per second. Imagine that! I also had the issue of constant outages where I can't upload to anything at all. So that was the second issue that I was having. That was really confusing. So you had the first issue of Time Warner giving me a faster path to my home via SSH FTP than they were giving me to YouTube or any of these video services directly. I had the second issue, which is that my internet so I set up the VPN. This thing was pretty good. It was $80 for 2 years. Again, I'm not sponsored. I don't get paid by these people. But it works. And I hope to have somebody help me set that up with pfSense. The second thing that I need to solve here is the internet's going down constantly. So I have the Verizon and Time Warner. Time Warner sucks a lot, but my pfSense router, which switches over to Verizon DSL when the Time Warner goes out, can no longer switch over to Verizon DSL. There was a fire in the building, and as a result, all the wiring was destroyed. They were still billing me in spite of the fact that the wiring was destroyed. They were asking me to reset my modem constantly on the phone, even when they knew that the wiring and infrastructure to get DSL in here is gone. The copper wire, all that stuff is burned to shit. And the guy on the phone was still saying, reset your modem. Try reset your modem. Try log into your modem. Unplug the plug. I wanted to bang my head against the wall so hard. But the best part of that is I was still being billed for that entire time. And it took several calls to Verizon to get them to stop billing me for DSL that doesn't work because of burned wiring. So I don't have a secondary internet connection anymore. So I want to get something like this. And I just have to figure out what ISP I should use. So I want to get a 4G LTE modem to have as a backup. So let's say Time Warner goes down, my pfSense router, which is really good. It's very, very quickly at detecting when a connection has failed and switching over to the next one. We'll have something to switch over to. So I am going to be buying... I got the and I paid for the VPN. That's check one. I'm going to pay for this thing and pay for a new internet. That's check two. Now, the third issue that I was having that I wasn't anticipating was with my PC build. Imagine that. Lewis messed up in building his PC. So the third issue is that my PC, I have this shitty Enermax Lictech TR4 second version of the CPU cooler. Not the first version. I got the second version, the one that's supposed to be fixed. It ain't fixed. Every now and then it makes funny noises, and my CPU will just start idling at 65 Celsius. It's very, very aggravating, and I think that was causing some of the pixelated video you were seeing yesterday. So you also may hear that every now and then my fans go to 3,000 RPM to make up for the fact that the Enermax's pump is not working. So it thinks, oh crap, make the fans go faster, but that's not going to work if the pump is not working. So I got myself a proper liquid cooling setup, and let me just show you what it was that I wound up ordering over here. So this is what I wound up ordering from this performance PC website. The last part of my PC that was pathetic was that piece of shit Enermax all-in-one liquid cooler. So I got this thing. So I got, hey, you could probably hear it shooting up again. So I got this coolant, this Extreme XS PC RX360 triple fan radiator, XS D5 Photon 170 pump and reservoir, Raystorm Neo AMD Threadripper 4 block, some Tygon tubing, and I've got some 120 millimeter Noctua fans. I think I have 3 of them lying around, so that should be good for this. So I think that by the end of the week, when I have an LTE backup, I have my VPN set up at pfSense properly, and this machine is not burning anymore, that I will finally be able to do live streams regularly without fuck-ups. Now, I am a greedy capitalist, so if you would like to help me with the stream upgrades here, I am selling some things. I'm going around the store and finding stuff that I no longer need and getting rid of it. So this has been sitting on my monitor for quite a while. I got some G-Skill 1434 RAM, so I don't really need this stuff anymore. So if you would like today, if you like, Lewis's yard sale is starting. So over here you'll notice that we have some very unique fuck Apple RAM. So this is $400 for 64 gigabytes of DDR4 fuck Apple RAM. This RAM, do not confuse fuck Apple RAM with Apple RAM. The difference between Apple RAM, so the difference that you have between Apple RAM and fuck Apple RAM is that Apple RAM will work in an Apple MacBook. However, fuck Apple RAM will not work in an Apple MacBook. So this is fuck Apple RAM. I have written fuck Apple on each of the DIMMs. Some of them say fuck AAPL, as in the stock. Some say fuck APPLE, as in I actually thought I could spell it out, but didn't realize there was only 8 chips instead of 9. So this here is genuine OEM fuck Apple RAM, straight from Rossmann Repair. And if you purchase this, it will make my wallet cry a tiny bit less at spending money on a VPN, spending money on somebody who's going to help fix my pfSense router at the store, and buying this thingy and paying for internet so that my streams will not stop going down from the $480 a month internet I'm already paying for, and it will also help fund the water cooling shit I got so that my computer will stop being annoying. I got this thing with overnight shipping, so hopefully I get it tomorrow, and Mikey may do a stream of that. So this is my yard sale. Don't delay. Don't delay. Never delay. Make sure to get yourself some fuck Apple RAM today. Now, if you go to store.rossmanngroup.com, one thing you may notice in store.rossmanngroup.com is there is only one in stock. This is a limited edition. You will never see this again. This is a limited edition fuck Apple RAM. Hundreds of millions of people have Apple RAM, but you today can be the first and only person in the world to have fuck Apple RAM. Think about it. You may not know what the timings of this memory are. You may not know what the bandwidth of this memory is. You may not even know who makes the RAM chips because I can't see if it says Alpida or Samsung or Micron on it. I can't tell who makes the chips. But what I can tell you is that it's fuck Apple RAM. And there's, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. That being said, I'm going to drink some water and get to some board repairs. We're going to fix some stuff today. It's going to be awesome. We're going to fix stuff. We're going to watch it work. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing. Piso de mierda. Fucking American. Yankee bastard. Let me just find myself a board. And also my headphones, since I believe I lost my headphones. It's one of the things I hate the most about wireless headphones. One of my biggest beefs with wireless headphones is that they're really easy to lose because there's no wire. They're wireless, but they also have a tendency to escape. Because I actually thought it would be nice to have some music on while I'm working. But I can only have music on while I'm working if I stop losing my headphones. Shit, something came up on the screen, but I'm not going to be able to read it because I'm over here. Oh shit, run. What'd I miss? I don't need fuck Apple, but here's a tip. Everybody needs fuck Apple. Also, you misspelled it. It's F-O-C-K Apple. That is an entirely different product than F-U-C-K-A-A-P-L. Big difference. No offense to you, I appreciate the $5, but I don't think you actually understand what it is that I'm selling. What I'm selling here is a clearly different product than what you think I'm selling. Because I would not sell FOCK Apple RAM. That's knockoff. That's the kind of shit that you get at iPadRehab.com or Micro Soldering Supply. That's that knockoff shit. You don't want that iPadRehab.com knockoff shit. You want the authentic fuck Apple RAM. It's not fuck Apple. Fuck Apple. All right, so where the fuck did I put my headphones? Here, headphones. Can I pair to them and play music really loud and see if I could find them? Let's see. I've always wanted an application. I wish somebody made this. Something that tells you the Bluetooth signal strength that you have, and it tells you hot or cold based on where it is. Let's see. Thank God I'm paired to it. All right. I am paired to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some music at a obnoxious volume, and I'm going to find where this fucking thing is. All right. Give me one moment. I probably should have found my headphones before starting the stream. This was stupid. Definitely not up here. Not up here. I gotta find these before they unpair themselves, or I'm screwed. Shit, where'd I put these damn headphones? Yeah, an app that finds your headphones based on signal strength. Aha. Okay, I turned up the preamp in this application called Neutron. It allows you to turn up the preamp so I can, in addition to just the volume, if I want to. I think I hear them. Aha! They're underneath my chair. The whole time. You fucking pieces of shit. You tangled up piece of shit. Get back here, you fucking headphones. Wireless horse shit. All right. Headphones. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. All right, turn. Okay, got my music. I definitely want an application that finds this stuff. Okay, let me see what I missed while I was up. And then I promise you, we're going to get to fixing a board. Just let me get my music. I gotta clean my headphones too since they were on the floor. Ugh. Not putting that stuff in my ear like that. Okay. Let me log in. What did I miss? Excuse me. What have I missed? Can I buy all the Blue Jolly Ranchers at the store? We don't sell Blue Jolly Ranchers. We sell watermelon Jolly Ranchers, not the blue ones. Blue Jolly Ranchers are the... Only somebody like Kevin would scam you into something like that. Only a Kevin would scam you like that. Okay. I don't need fuck Apple RAM either. Take my $5. Thank you, Tiberian. Something is truly fucked up. It might be more than Spectrum. Might have to redo from scratch. Okay. Let me get some music. Something nice and calming to let me forget that I pay $480 a month for Spectrum. Alright. Because when you pay $480 a month for Spectrum and you see the results of it, it does genuinely increase your blood pressure. And it is going to make you want to smash and... It's going to cause you to want to smash things and beat things and... Very bad. One second. We have a dumbass that keeps calling after closing. I just have to make this phone automatically reject the phone calls. Every now and then you get a dumbass that calls 4 times in a row and doesn't understand what the concept of voicemail is. He's calling again. You are so fucking stupid. Okay. Yeah. I really don't get that idea. Like, I'm gonna call. The store says we're open at 12 to 8 in the voicemail. I'm so fucking retarded. I'm gonna call back and they're probably gonna pick up. Like, there's something about that that's a genuine pet peeve. Like, leave the voicemail. Don't be a cunt. Don't call 5 times in a row. Okay. Now that we're starting a machine, start new recording. Ready? 1, 2, music. Something nice to listen to. All right, today we're going to be working on another MacBook. This is an A1398 MacBook. It has liquid damage. It won't turn on. It needs to be fixed. Let's open this MacBook up and see what it looks like on the inside. The inside of this MacBook. Chris says, I bet it was Paul Daniels that called you, says Arvid. Chris said Caroline who would want to talk to that face. Caroline's not calling me. She's not calling me from a 646 number. Carolyn's not calling me from a 646 number. You troll. Also, Carolyn is a female, which means she probably doesn't exist. Remember, a girl is an acronym. On a motherboard repair channel, girl is acronym for guy in real life. Do not trust anybody that claims to be a girl on a motherboard repair channel. I used to think that Jessa was a woman, and then I started teaching class with her, and I realized that she would say suck my dick 10 times more than every man that I knew combined. So even Jessa, guy in real life, just got to inspect further. Guy in real life. Guy in real life. Why call the shop after hours? That's fine. Leave a voicemail. It's cool. Hang up and call back when the voicemail says we close at 8. That just makes you a cunt. Okay, so what we have done here is we are going to unplug the battery and see how much amperage is taken when I first plug it in. Do realize that the amount of power that a board is taking is going to tell me a lot. 200 milliamps, short on PP bus. 100 milliamps, all says power good circuit not working. 20 milliamps, PM sleep S4L missing / on Paul's desk. Different amounts of power being drawn are going to tell me different things about the machine. So I want to know exactly how much power the board by itself over here is taking. I want to know what the board is taking. But I cannot know what the board is taking if the battery's plugged in, because the battery is going to take different amounts of power. So, what do I mean when I say the battery is going to take different amounts of power? What I mean is that if the battery is almost fully charged, it's probably going to take only 1 or 200 milliamps, whereas if the battery is not charged at all, it may take 3 to 4 amps. So since the power supply is just telling me how much power the machine as a whole is drawing, I can't tell how much the board is taking by itself when I have an external variable like the battery there, because the battery is taking a different amount of amperage depending on how much it's charged. So I unplug the battery, and then I plug the machine in, and the first thing I notice here is that this charge port is wiggling. I actually hope to, in the next few days, I really want to make some good channel upgrades here, because lots more people have been watching recently, and I genuinely appreciate that. One of the things I'm hoping to do is get myself a nicer overhead lens. And so let me show you the thing that I'm looking at getting. But yeah, this over here, this wobbles around. So what this tells me is that this has been opened by an idiot, because this should not wobble around. So most likely the long screw is put in the short hole, and if the long screw is put in the short hole, you bet your ass you know that the long screw is put in the other holes as well. Bastard. You know, I did not have the courage to kick your ass directly, but I could, you know? You know I'm involved with black magic? You know you're going to have another accident! Person who worked on this MacBook. You are going to have another accident! Asshole. Anyway, so this over here is a lens that I'm looking at buying, because then I'll be able to zoom in more. So right now the most zoom I can get out of this cheap-ass kit lens is like this far before you start getting into digital zoom. But it'd be really cool if I could go closer, so I'm looking at getting that as a lens. Anyway, so what we have here is it is taking 0.01 amps. Now 0.01 amps tells me that most likely at 0.01 amps, what that means is that this shit's probably not even fucking plugged into the board on the other end. And as you can see over here, we've also got some more case of the long screw short hole blues, because this is the screw that goes there. This screw goes over here. This is all an effing mess. So let's take it apart and start from scratch and pray that we don't have any more long screw short hole rapey-to-rape going on over here, because that would make me really, really sad. Also, what make me sad is my fume extractor not having its thing put on properly. God damn this tiny store. I moved about 2 inches in one direction and I already dropped a bunch of stuff. You literally can't move around here. This is fucking driving me crazy. Oh my god, this is so annoying sometimes. But anyway, I don't know if I've shared as well, but one of the cool things is There's a store that we are checking out soon. Let me show you. So we're looking at this around 1 o'clock tomorrow, by the way. I'm sorry to keep going off topic on stuff, but God knows how many people are angry at me for not reading chat right now. Okay, so check this shit out. Look at this space. So this one's, I think, $3,000, and the one next to it is $3,500. And they're only a few blocks away, so I'm thinking of renting these as separate spaces. Yeah, so look at this. There's a lot of potential here. It's only a block and a half away. So I'm thinking of renting both of them. And that's something that I'm kind of excited about. That's something I'm hoping to do soon. We're going to see it tomorrow and see if they're going to be reasonable and fair about lease terms. But if that happens, then I don't have to be in this claustrophobic shitbox anymore. Maybe I can move things around a little bit. Anyway, so let's take this board apart. Because again, if they want $3,500 a space, I'll jump at that immediately. I'll take two of them. I don't even know what to do with the second store. I'll just take it. Like, I'll find out what to do with it later. If they'll give me both of those stores for $7,000, I only need one, but hey, if you have two of them, I'll take it. I'll take another one while it's that cheap. Because even though it's a little bit of a fixer-upper, this is New York, and most like if you go looking for a space like that, you're going to hear stuff like from the fuckface owners of this building that wanted $27,000 for a space a few blocks down from here that's a tiny bit larger. Oh, what a fuckface thing. I can't. Have I told you how much I don't like the people that own this building? I really don't like the people who own this building. I genuinely despise them. Hey, Lewis. Oh, what's that? You have no heat and it's 7 degrees outside? Sure. We'll get back to you. 2 weeks later, you bring my heaters that are the equivalent of somebody going in front of a lighter. Oh, fuck those people. The guy that owned my building before, he was your standard New York landlord, like little corner cutting there, little you got to pay for stuff there. But on the other hand, overall, good dude. He would help me, they'd help me out with stuff, made sure things were smooth. These new people, not liking it one bit. For a week since the YouTube algorithm recommended something about Apple's history. Oh, god damn it. I didn't have the thing aligned properly. Let's see. Been watching for a week since the YouTube algorithm recommended your video about Apple's history. Your video is always informative and entertaining and informative. Thank you very much, Taylor. I highly appreciate that. It's very nice of you. Is this another bad butt converter reflow? I hope not. I hope nobody actually tried to do that to this, but we're going to see on the other side of the board. So the first thing is this was an issue of liquid damage, so that's not going to be what they were going for. And you can already see the areas that have a little bit of liquid on them, like this. See? See that? So this is not a liquid damage thing. I mean, this is not a butt converter reflow. This is purely a liquid damage issue, and this has been pre-opened by somebody most likely to clean it, who took it apart, who then put and this may have been a simple fix, but it could be a harder one now that all the wrong screws are in the wrong holes. And I will show you what the results of the wrong screw in the wrong hole, what it looks like at the board level in a moment. Yeah, I went to the people who, the owners of the building, and I said, I get that most places in New York City, they don't, when they buy a building, they look to sit on it for 10 years, sell it at a markup, and keep it empty so that they don't have to deal with the higher property taxes or tenants that are going to mess with it. Or they're just going to look for the Chase and Starbucks kind of tenant. I totally get that. And if you're looking to do that here, that's fine. Just let me know. But if you're not looking to do that and you want to rent me the space next door and extend my lease, I will renovate the space to make it look more pristine than an Apple store. Both of these spaces, I will tear them down, I will gut them, I will start from scratch. I'll make sure they look beautiful and that it increases the property value of the building. Just let me know what you'd like to do. And rather than be a man and say, no, we would rather just get rid of you as soon as the lease is up, rather than have any sense of rather than have any kind of balls for genuine human honesty or interaction, the guy doesn't reach out to me. He has some low-level staffer reach out to me and say, we would like to offer you the courtesy of, I want to read the exact email, because this is, where is this thing? Oh, jeez, I blew my stack when I read this. I blew my stack. Oh, yeah. I don't know who you spoke to at Hub, but I am talking about a different space across the street at 131 First Avenue. That's what I was talking about. I wanted to give you the courtesy of discussing a possibly completely new lease because of all that happened at 186 First Avenue. I think you may love the space I'm talking about, so hope we can discuss further. Like, you couldn't tell me yourself that you don't want to give me the space. You couldn't tell me yourself that I couldn't take the space next door. You couldn't tell me, hey, we don't really want people like you here. We don't want people that don't want to pay $30,000 for a box here. Just be honest. You couldn't even say that to me face to face. You had to send your fucking newly graduated college assistant to me to ignore my question and then offer me a space that's $27,000. I asked you about the space next door, asshole. I asked you about extending the lease here, asshole. I did not fucking ask you about a hole in the wall for $27,000 fucking dollars. And I blew my stack when I read the courtesy part. I absolutely blew my stack at reading the courtesy part. Okay, so the building went on fire, most likely because the sushi place next door had an accident because they had a high rent, at least they were stuck in and no customers. And there was a fire, fine. And then there was no heat for several months. And when we asked, hey, is there anything you can do in terms of electric heat or getting the gas turned on, anything, even if you can't get the gas turned back on, can you bring us some heaters or something? You ignore us for 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks later, you bring these fucking little, these hair dryers that you probably couldn't even reflow a goddamn GPU with. Because of all that, as a courtesy for your basement being flooded and all this, as a courtesy, we're going to offer you a $27,000 space. That's like teeny tiny bit bigger than the one you have now. Fuck you, building owners. Fucking fuck you in the ass. And I don't care if you're viewing this video either. I'll tell it to your face if you actually decide that you would like to come by and have a conversation, which you won't. Which you fucking won't. I was very nice when I went to their office. Very nice. But that genuinely got me nowhere. So I remember I sent an email back. Let's see, what is it that I sent back to that person? I made sure to be my very professional self. What was it? Yeah, I sent an email saying, I recall reaching out and visiting concerning our space and also the lease in the space next door. I was inquiring if it would be possible to get a lease extension on our current location and potentially rent the candy store if we agreed to put up funds to fully renovate it and make it look pristine, top of the line. The space next door had been rented out around $4,800 to $6,700. If that were not in the cards, and they'd rather ride it out until we leave in 2023, that'd be fine too. I just wanted to know in advance so that I could plan accordingly as to whether or not I should make renovations. You responded by ignoring these questions and asking if I would be interested in a space that is marginally larger than what we currently have for over 6 times the price. I cannot tell if you're kidding or intentionally trolling us. I would honestly just prefer if you said that you'd rather not have us in the building than waste time like this. Because they actually wanted us to go see the space, and luckily Steve said, hey, how much is it before we bother wasting time in that? And then they said, this 130, then they responded with what I said. So I responded with the 131 space is the one we spoke about, the 27K about a month space, it's about 30% larger. Because of all that happened here, you're giving us the courtesy of discussing a new lease at a space that's 30% bigger for 600% more. We were not interested because it wasn't an answer to any of our original questions. I was giving you the benefit of the doubt that this was a mistake or intentional trolling. If not, I can only imagine that you are clueless. And that's the sad part. I don't think that she was doing something mean. I think she genuinely believed that I wanted that space because her coward, bitch-ass motherfucker of a boss couldn't speak to me and say, we just don't want you there. But this is like their passive-aggressive Harvard business owner, button-down shirt, I'm better than you bullshit-ass way of saying we don't want you there. Because you don't have the balls to say we don't want you there the proper way. Fuck out of here. Anyway, this has nothing to do with MacBook repair. It's really easy for your blood pressure to go up when you deal with landlords in New York City. But anyway, the cool part is I got this little backup store here, which I hope to be renting out. And again, this is a, look at this, $3,500 for this one, $3,500 for that one. Hell, I'll take both of them, and I'll even keep this one. So maybe this one would be the walk-in location, one of those would be the mail-in location, and the other one would be the shipping. Who the hell knows? Probably one of them will be the walk-in. This one will be walk-in. Other one will be mail-in slash shipping, and the other one will be, I just want to put my flag down on this store and take it before somebody else takes it and resells it for $30,000. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm going to go back to fixing this MacBook. This is probably the most rambling, useless stream I've done in a very, very long time. Oh my God, dealing with New York real estate people is just so aggravating. It's so fucking annoying. Like I mean, I laid it out for you. I made it easy. It's not like you have to sugarcoat it. I said, do you? If your store was any better, you couldn't afford it. Somebody remembers the words of my old landlord. Sean said, glad to see someone else using trackball. I have for years. Thank you. My mouse isn't working now. Come on, mouse. Your battery's dying, little mouse? Where did you go? I just dropped the battery cover for my mouse. I think I'm going to have to lose weight if I keep using this space up here. It's so small that if I want to bend down to pick up something, I actually have to get out of the space because when I move over, I knock something to my right. Yeah, if your store was any better, you couldn't afford it. Love your rants. Your stream is great. Thank you very much. A JCPenney suit wearing pencil neck geek. Yeah. Well, you have an accident when the lease is up. No. If I wanted to do something like that, I would have sued the people that put that plate down when I slipped over my bike. If I'm going to become a millionaire, I want it to be because I actually did something. Not because I pretended my neck hurt for a month when it didn't. You know? Why not get a bot like Nightbot or set it up to advertise the store every 2 minutes? Because getting a bot and setting it up means investing time that I don't have. If I had time, I wouldn't be here fixing boards at 12:15 in the morning. You realize that I finally got people who've been working here for 5 years to start counting things just like 2 days ago. And you want me to start baby steps, one step at a time. Bot, we'll get a bot once I can get people to count the shit that's in the basement properly. All right. The bot is a great project. It's just a project to take on once all the other basics have been gotten done. Okay, so we've got the board out of the machine. Let's put all the tiny components to it in a little container. Someone said it's 50% more space at 7 times the going rate. It's a deal for them only. Yes. Because the thing is, when you say that you're offering me that space as a courtesy, what you're saying is that you think I'm so stupid that I think it is a courtesy to raise rent $22,000, raise square footage by like 200 or 300. You think that I'm stupid enough to see that as a courtesy. That's insulting. Like that just. Because somebody could say that what I said back was mean, but when somebody looks at you with a straight face and says that they think that's a courtesy, what they're actually saying is we think that you're retarded, which is why I thought it was intentional trolling. Or if not intentional trolling, then it means they're retarded. So they either think I'm retarded, or they are. Either way, that's not a good business relationship. So let's plug this thing in now that it's out of the case and see if we get anything different. So as we can see, it is still taking 10 milliamps. It is stuck at 10 milliamps and nothing is going on. So the first thing I'm going to do is see if they messed up anything around the DC inboard area. Let's get this open on the good old microscope. Oh, gee. DC in area looks decent. Now, if you take a look at where the long screws were, you see how it kind of scrapes the board down there? So do you see how there's a screw hole indentation on the board itself? This is what long screw does. And that's why you should never put the long screw in the short hole. That's long screw. Long screw, short hole. Someone says, my landlord just threatened to throw me out for drilling holes for my surveillance cams when my truck was broken into for the third time. Yeah, that sucks. Have you considered buying a shop? Seeing as this building sold for $14 million, I don't think I'm going to be in the purchasing building place anytime soon. Make one store Apple certified. That's actually a cool idea. I could have two stores side by side, and one would be Apple certified, one not Apple certified. So we could have like red pill, blue pill. What do you guys think of that, actually? No, this... Wow. Whoa. Okay, let's do this. Those two stores that I just showed you, we have the blue pill and the red pill. Go left to be told to buy the new one. Go left to get what Apple tell you buy a new one. Go right to get the truth. I think... Okay, now here's where the second question comes in. Is it worth paying $7,000 a month to have a meme store? Because at this point, those two stores would exist purely as a meme. So we'd have Apple authorized and Apple unauthorized, and they would be right next to each other. One store could be the theme, the paint, the sign could all be blue, and the other store, the theme, the sign would all be red. So this would actually be like red pill, blue pill. Do you want the lies or do you want the truth? Do you think that the reason that your machine has no graphics is because you were using it wrong or holding it wrong? Or do you think the reason your machine has no graphics is because we didn't, our U8900 is coming desoldered from the board because our board fucking flexes inside the housing of a $3,000 machine? Oh man, this is such a terrible way to spend money as a business owner. But, man, that would be so cool. Meme store. Okay, now the only thing is, here's the thing. I could afford it. I could pay that. I could, again, adding $7,000 a month to the company rent is no big deal. Adding $20,000 a month to the company rent, that's not happening. But I think that we would make more money if I had those two spaces. We'd be able to take on more items. We'd be able to do things faster. We'd be able to do inventory checks quicker. I could add items to the store faster. I think it would be great. I think I could make up the money for that. The issue that I have with that idea is, how am I going to have an Apple authorized repair shop? Because if I apply to be Apple authorized, even if I take all the certifications and I take all the license tests or whatever the hell there is, and I pass all that, there's no way in hell my name is getting Apple authorized. So I'd need to find somebody who was already Apple authorized, who would be willing to loan me that certification or allow me to use that as part of my meme store. So if anybody runs an Apple authorized service provider shop, would they be willing to allow me to use their name and have my company deal with everything in that location right next to my unauthorized location? So one location would be, this location would stay, and those two stores that I showed you, you'd have one store. That's where Paul and Camille and Mikey are going to be dealing with shipping, receiving mail-ins, and sending out mail-ins, and they're not exactly customer service people, but they would be dealing with the customer directly. And right next door to it, I would need to have a store where that was under somebody else's company name who's already Apple authorized, because I ain't getting Apple authorized. That's not happening. It don't matter how much money or certifications I'm willing to get. So I would need to find somebody who is an Apple authorized service provider who would be willing to allow me to use their name for my meme store. And then we could do red pill, blue pill. So like blue pill store, red pill store. Can you imagine that in New York City? In New York fucking City, in the middle of Manhattan, we would have a structure that was is a retail location that is dedicated to trolling Apple. I can't believe I'm at the point in my life where I can actually afford to do things like this. If I wanted to, I could spend because I could get one of those stores for $3,500, or I could get two of them for $7,000. But I'm at the point in my life where $3,500 a month for a troll is actually doable. Oh my god, man, this is cool. This would work. This does not make business sense, but this makes meme sense. This does not make happy the business side of my brain, but it does make happy the 14-year-old internet troll, IRC troll side of my brain. Wow. And think about it, New York is a tourist location too. So this could be one of the places that you go to if you're going to New York and you're going to... We could sell merchandise out of the Blue Pill store. So if we could make this amazing. What we could do is we could go through the Apple handbook of how to deal with customers. So somebody's told me that there's a handbook out there that says how you're supposed to talk to customers, vocabulary you can use, vocabulary you can't use. And I'm not saying that anybody should ever email me a copy of that, because that would be wrong at lewis@rossmangroup.com. That's LOUIS at ROSSMANNGROUP.com. Identity will be protected. Your anonymity will be guaranteed. That being said, you should never email me stuff like that, because that'd be totally wrong. But if you were to email me something like that, we could have T-shirts in the Blue Pill store that say the things that Apple says when you go to the store. I'm sorry, we cannot do that, but would you like to buy another one? We could have all the things that they say on T-shirts in the Blue Pill Apple store that would be right next to the Red Pill Apple store. We could have somebody there who's dressed like a genius, and that would be a person that has gone through the Apple authorized service provider certification process, and you could buy merchandise at that store. We could sell Kilted Tim Key-shirts. This is great. This would be... Okay, sorry. I'm done with my wet dream. Give me 1 second. Just got to clean my pants off, and we will get back to this board repair. 1 moment. I just have to dry myself. I got a little excited there. This paper towel will be available at store.rossmangroup tomorrow. Store.rossmangroup.com tomorrow morning. Oh man, this is beautiful. Okay, Blue Pill. So back to work. We have to get something done tonight. This is an 820-3787 MacBook. So we're not getting a green light in the charger. The first rail that we need to get a green light on the charger is going to be pp3v42_G3hot. So I'm going to turn on Paul Daniels' software, get that going on the screen. It's pretty hard to get Paul Daniels' software to show up on the screen, but it's worth it. Now the first rail that we need is pp3v42_G3hot. Because if we look at the charge port over here, you'll notice charge port J7000, MagSafe DC power jack. That has a signal called adapter sense. Adapter sense is going to go to this chip. This chip allows the adapter sense line to speak to the system management controller. This chip over here, the system management controller, manages the system. It turns on the charger. And this chip is not going to turn on unless it gets pp3v42 from this chip. So pp3v42 is the first rail that we need for anything in the system to work. If you don't understand how the one-wire circuit works, I would highly suggest that you check out any of my videos on the one-wire circuit, which you can find over here. They are all archived, easily searchable. I put them all over here for you people to see. Repair videos by problem. You can click repair videos by problem on boards.rossmangroup.com. You can go over here to no light on charger, and it will show you every single video I've ever done on no light on the charger. This is all on Vimeo, which means when you view my website and you view this video, you will not have pre-roll or post-roll ads, and every one of these videos is encoded at a higher quality than what YouTube encodes. So if you don't understand the whole idea of PP3V42_G3hot needs to be present to get the one-wire circuit to work, you can definitely check this out over here, where I have many videos going over the one-wire circuit. Let's go back to this board. Name for blue pill should be Kilted Tim. Absolutely. Absolutely. We have a big old fucking picture of Tim cooking a kilt right in front of the store, and we'd have a list of all the lies that he told in the Apple community support forums. Okay, so we're getting 3.4 volts. So we have 3.4 volts at PP3V42. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down my list of power rails and check if my PP bus is there. So my PP bus is supposed to be G3 hot, right? Let's see if it's G3 hot or G3 not. 12.3. Now, 12.3 volts tells me that my SMC is not running. So the SMC over here is going to be what is going to speak to my charger to tell it to turn on. So here, adapter sense goes into U7000, and then U7000 is going to allow the adapter sense line to speak with the SMC chip, which is at sys1 wire. On the sys1 wire line, tilted Kim. Oh, good stuff. And this over here is the SMC. Now, the SMC, this chip, is going to have communication with several different chips. So the SMC is not only going to speak to the charger, it's also going to speak to another chip that makes the primary system voltage from the charger. So let me show you how that works. So over here, you have the SMC, and it has a data line with this chip called a battery charger, U7100, which Apple lists as ISL 6258 rather than 6259 because whoever made the schematic is drunk. Now, if we take a look at that chip that makes PP-Bus G3 hot, which is the rail that we were just looking at, not only does it have a data line with the SMC, this has a data line with the SMC. This chip that has a data line with the SMC creates PP-Bus G3 hot. Now, one thing that we've come to notice over the years is that if the SMC is working and it's on, it speaks to U7100 and says, hey, hi, how are you? Can you give us 12.6 volts instead of 12.3? And when it doesn't work, it doesn't say that to the U7100. So when I measure PP-Bus G3 hot, and it says that we're only getting 12.3 volts rather than 12.6 volts, what that does is it tells me the SMC is not on and that it does need to be turned on in order for things to work. So let's take a look over at the SMC area and see what it looks like. By the way, let me know if when you view this video on Vimeo, if it's better quality than usual. I have upped my bitrate here since I have a VPN so that the traffic stops getting throttled. So I've been able to up my bitrate, and I'm also using X264 rather than the graphics card encoder for the streamed copy, and I'm using the graphics card encoder for the recorded copy, which is a higher bitrate, so that you'll hopefully see the stuff in better quality than you saw before. I do hope that I can make this stuff look better and better with time. And if you're not sure where to find me on Vimeo, I will post a link in the chat down below. Have I told you that on Vimeo there's no advertisements? So if you're dealing with pre-roll and post-roll ads, you can actually get rid of those pre-roll and post-roll ads by watching the stream on Vimeo. But I digress. Let's take a look over at that area and see what's going on. Is this area looks very clean to me. I don't see much in terms of liquid damage. What do you all think? Hopefully I'm not missing anything. Eyes are looking dark again, similar to Christmas. No, my eyes are not darker. It's just when I up the quality of the video, it's easier to see how ugly I am in real life. When the video bitrate is lower or the encoding quality is lower because I'm using NVENC rather than libx264, it's harder to see that I'm ugly because you don't have the quality. You up the quality, and it all goes downhill from there. Okay, so this is pretty clean looking. Now, the next thing I'm going to want to do is check in the reset circuit here to see if it's actually being told to turn on. So let's check the SMC reset circuit. Now, what is an SMC reset circuit? Well, the SMC, as I said, is powered by PP3V42. Now, PP3V42 is the first rail to turn on in the machine, and it's going to take a little bit of time for that rail to stabilize. If the SMC automatically turns on, as soon as that rail comes on, it's going to crash because that rail is not going to be 3.4. It's going to be 2 volts when it starts, or 4, or 6, whatever. The quarter of a second it takes for that rail to stabilize, or that microsecond it takes to stabilize, is still enough to set the SMC off and cause it to crash as it tries to turn on. So there's a chip over here, and with the point being of this chip, what this chip is going to do is it's going to make sure that the SMC doesn't turn on until SMC reset L is pulled up. So the underscore L, when you see this next to a signal, underscore L means this signal is only present when the voltage is low. So the SMC will be reset when that voltage is low. If the voltage is 0 or 0.5, the SMC will be reset. If that signal is 3.4 volts, the SMC is going to not be reset and it will work. So think of this like you're holding down the power button, not the whole button, you're holding down the reset button on a desktop PC. If you hold down the reset button on a desktop PC, it's not going to post. The same is true here. Now, if you take a look, you'll see that there's a pull-up resistor that is making sure that the 3.4 volts is always present on SMC reset L. However, U7100 is then going to take that and pull it down. It's going to pull that signal down and keep it there for about a quarter of a second. So we're going to see if SMC reset L is present on this board. And we can find SMC reset L in this area around the SMC right over here. So let's see what's present. Digressing is all you do, says Paul Daniels. I don't have a comeback to that. I genuinely have no comeback to that. I don't know if I should be offended, complimented, really kind of confused. All right, so we have 3.4 volts in SMC reset. So this is where this starts to get tricky. So the SMC is being told to turn on. The SMC itself is not at all corroded. And in spite of the SMC not being corroded, in spite of the SMC being told to turn on, our PP bus is 12.3 volts. So now I'm going to look over the board for some hints and see if there's anything around here that's going to give me a clue as to why this board is acting this way. So here we have corrosion, and corrosion is definitely something that I take interest in when we have a liquid damage board that's not working properly. But the reason I'm not taking the most interest in this corrosion over here is Stream Deck. Really? 4-second lag between changing scenes? There we go. Stream Deck's back. By the way, I added some stuff to the Stream Deck. Check this out. Check this out.
Get the fuck out of my store.
Moron. Moron.
Get the fuck out of my store.
Moron. To infuriate our tech staff with your obvious questions, press.
Get the fuck out of my store. Get the fuck out of my store. Get the fuck out of my store. Get the fuck out of my store.
That's great. Now get the fuck out of here. Moron.
Get the fuck out of my store.
Moron.
Get the fuck out of my store.
Moron. Moron. Yes, dear. That's great. Now get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of my store.
Moron.
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 Sometimes you gotta have a little bit of fun. Sometimes you gotta have a little bit of fun. I need to put complete disrespect on there. HiHi is actually our now paid stream assistant. So if you have any suggestions for things to improve the stream or bots or stuff like that, do reach out to HiHi, who is actually paid to deal with this. So, okay, that being said, let's take a look in the microscope and see what everything looks like on this board. So this is not a circuit that's really important to me. Actually, no, this is important to me. What am I talking about? Okay, this is backlight. That's really not important. But what's this? This strikes me as something familiar. What are you? U7190. Oh, you create the power for our U7100 chip, I believe. Yeah, so this thing creates the voltage for our ISL6259 to work. And ISL6259 is the thing that makes PP G3 hot, which is currently low. So let's just take a look and see if what's supposed to be coming out of this is actually coming out of it. R7191 is going to be over here. Someone says if we reach out to HiHi, can we touch? No touching HiHi. No, nobody touches my stream assistant. Oh, duh. So nice to have the stream deck back. Okay, we got 5 volts there, 5 volts there. So even though that circuit is corroding, it's actually doing its job. So let's continue around here. Okay, now what do you guys see over here on the keyboard connector? Tell me what this is and why it matters. Okay, what is the relationship between our issues? So here I'm going to give you a chance. A, what is the relationship between the keyboard connector being corroded and the fact that my SMC appears to not be turning on? Go. You have a minute. Okay, so what's going on here is that typically when you hold the power button down, it's going to reset the SMC. Now, in our situation, don't think that that's the problem because the SMC reset signal was held high. However, the pins that are shorted over here on this connector are pins that seem to be imperative. So the pins that look shorted to me are, find my tweezer, pins that seem shorted are pins 4 and 5. 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 appear to have some goop in them. So let's take a look at what those pins are for on the schematic in the board view. So that's keyboard on-off L and 3.42 volts. So that's strange, that the on-off L, and then the keyboard keys, which is not a big deal. But keyboard on-off L, if there's anything going on there, it's going to think the power button is held down. And when you hold down the power button, that resets the SMC. So let's take a look at what happens when we clean up that connector and see if that makes our board work again. Just turn on the fume extractor. So I'm going to clean up this board a little bit. Love the rants and videos. Keep it up. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Glad somebody gets something out of these videos. All right, let's check this out. World's worst soldering coming up right here. Courtesy of only using a pawl of flux. Because all the solder on this connector is kind of mixed in with corrosion and other junk. I'm going to redo each pin. Jeopardy music would be nice during quiz times. You know what? I could actually get Jeopardy music on the stream deck. Okay, so I've made a scene for unmuting desktop audio. And now we get a play audio scene for Jeopardy. And we're going to go into the Soul Seek. Seek Soul. Okay, so we unmute desktop. All right. Good recommendation. Jeopardy would be copyright, thus solar system would implode. We'll see. Maybe it is, maybe it'll be an issue, maybe it won't be. Okay. Okay, so here's a question for all of you. What is the right amount of flux to use when reflowing a connector? Hi says check your Discord DMs. I never check my Discord DMs. My Discord DMs are so full of crap. If I started reading now and didn't accept new ones, I would be reading until the end of the year. Hi, you know damn well I don't read my Discord DMs. And you know why I don't read those DMs, hi. Contact me here. Oh, fine, I'll read my Discord DMs since hi said to. Add this to the stream deck. Disgusting. Disgusting practice. Oh, here we go. Play audio. Disgusting practice. This is getting kind of fun. Downloads. Disgusting practice.
That's a disgusting practice of complete disrespect. That's a disgusting practice of complete disrespect.
Moron.
Get the fuck out of my store.
That's a disgusting practice of complete disrespect.
Get the fuck out of my store.
Yep, I'm never going to get any work done again. What is customer service for $100?
Get the fuck out of my store. Get the fuck out of my
Are you vegan, Lewis? I am a good vegan. I'm a good vegetarian and a bad vegan. For the person who asked.
Get the fuck out of my store.
Moron.
A bad vegan is somebody who claims to be vegan and tries to be vegan, but every now and then they doesn't check to see if there's milk or an egg in something that they eat. It's kind of like with religion. You know, one of the things that I found interesting when people are going, you know, Muslims believe this or the Quran says that. Can you believe this? Is, okay, you have a point, but how many of you who are Christian have actually read the Bible? I was raised Christian. I went to some Catholic after school thing for a few years. Yeah, it was actually from first grade through fifth grade. From first grade through seventh grade, actually. I had to go to some after school Catholic shit. I still never read the Bible. I can't quote a single verse from the Bible. Now, you know, much less actually live by it. So I would say that, you know, let's say a good Christian is somebody that reads the Bible and knows all that crap, and the bad Christian is kind of, yeah, you say you're Christian, but if I quoted, I mean, I could quote something that the spaghetti monster said, and you may think it's the Bible. So I aim to be vegan, but I fail. Whereas I'm a good vegetarian because I aim to be vegetarian and I succeed. So there's that. So because the thing is, being vegetarian is pretty simple. But being vegan means you have to, like, every time you go someplace, you have to research, is there an egg in this? Is this ingredient an ingredient that was derived from an ingredient that was derived from an ingredient that at one point in time had milk in it? It's just very difficult. So I'm a hybrid. I am a good vegetarian and a bad vegan. I say that because if you are an aspiring vegan, or attempt to be, and you are not, that people who are a member of the cult of veganism will kill you and destroy you. So, and they're scary. So I say good vegetarian, bad vegan. That being said, so we've made our keyboard connector here look very nice, as you can see. I have high hopes for this keyboard connector. So what I'd like to do is plug this in and see if we have any difference in our results now. Let's plug this in and see what the results are. I know, Tioga. Ew, how dare I have a diet that's different from yours. Someone said Anel is a bad Muslim, I'm a bad Muslim. No, hi, you are not a bad Muslim. Anel is a bad person because he comes from Staten Island. And take it from somebody that's lived there for 17 years. It's one thing if you're forced to live there, but if you live in Staten Island by choice, I didn't hire Anel, I'm just saying. That was Steve's pick. But I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it! Okay, as you can see, redoing the keyboard connector got us a light, and we're also going to see if that light has translated into being a fan spin. So I'm going to get my fan. And see if it spins.
Get the fuck out of my store. 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 Get the fuck out of my store.
I have a set of Axiom M60 speakers in the front now, so I can actually play this fairly nice volume and let people really know that they need to get the fuck out of my store. Okay, so we have a light in the charger and the fan is spinning. So let's take a look at what goes on when the power button thinks it's turned down. I'm going to go over what I think was going on with this machine from beginning to end. And so the first thing that I noticed was that we were not getting a green light on the charger. And the circuitry that's going to allow us to get a green light in the charger can be seen if we follow along over to the section of the machine where the charger comes in. So this is where the charge port plugs into the computer over here. And we see we have 20 volts. We have ground, and we have adapter sense. Adapter sense is a line that's going to be able to speak to the system management controller. The system management controller needs to speak with the charger and hear, "Hi, I'm a Snowflake Apple charger." "Hi, Snowflake Apple charger." "Hi, I'm ready to be turned on. I will send you 18 volts," and so on and so forth. So they have that, and I will let you turn on the machine with the power of my Snowflakey Apple overpriced goodness. Now, this over here is not going to speak directly to the SMC on that sys1 wire line, because if it does, that's potential to kill the SMC. This is a 20 volt power line, and this is a 3 volt data line. If somebody is drunk and wasted and trying to plug their connector in all whoa, 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 like, you know, they're wasted, they're high, they're drunk, and they're trying to do some shit like that, what's going to happen is that the 20 volt line from the charger is going to go to the 3 volt line for the SMC, and the SMC is going to go psh, and that's going to be bad. Same thing will happen to Apple stock price when my channel hits 1 million subscribers someday. One can only dream. So that is something that we are looking to avoid. So to avoid that, we put U7000 in as a buffer. This says, oh, are you a 3.3 volt adapter sense line? Go right ahead. Speak to my SMC. Oh, are you a 20 volt power line? F you, you're blocked. You're not going to my SMC. Screw that. Now, this circuit is what speaks to the SMC. Now, we made sure that we had PP3V4 too, the power rail that's going to allow this chip to turn on and send power to this one. That was all working as we expected. Our adapter sense signal was 3 volts as expected, and we went over to our SMC area, and the SMC was not corroded. The SMC area over here had 0 corrosion. This is what's going to speak to the charger. Now, we also, interestingly enough, we checked our SMC reset signal, and SMC reset L was actually present. Which is strange, because the issue that we were getting is that we weren't getting a green light because the SMC wasn't turning on. We confirmed the fact that the SMC wasn't turning on by checking the voltage on another chip that is controlled by the SMC. So over here, you can see this is a totally separate chip on the board, but this chip, the U7100, it creates a signal voltage called PP bus G3 hot. It speaks to the SMC. The SMC talks to it, and it tells it, make me 12.56 volts. But if the SMC is unable to talk to it, it's not going to make it 12.56 volts. This chip will only make 12.3. It needs the SMC to say, hey, bro, I need more voltage than that. And if the SMC is not turning on, this is not going to happen. So the lack of green light combined with the lack of 12.6 volts being made by this chip, which it usually is making if the SMC is talking to it, led us to believe that the SMC was not turning on. The lack of corrosion by the SMC led me to believe that the SMC was not turning on, not because it was broken, but rather there was another external factor. So what are those other external factors? Over here, you can see SMC on-off L is a signal that goes to our SMC reset chip. So this SMC reset chip is going to make sure that SMC reset L is held low, as in SMC will be reset when the signal is low, like 0 volts, for about 1/4 of a second when the machine first gets plugged in, so that the SMC doesn't crash. Because we're going to keep the SMC from crashing when PP3V42 power rail turns on with the machine. We're going to give it a little second to stabilize. That SMC reset signal was there. SMC on-off L can control that signal. It's one of the many ways of controlling that signal, or putting it into a reset mode again. Now, SMC on-off L, it means, hey, I'm hitting the power button, turn the machine on or off when I'm low, and that is controlled by something near the keyboard. So we have R4810, and that's going to be a resistor between the keyboard and SMC on-off L, which means that our keyboard, which is where the power button is attached to, has the ability to control SMC reset. So not only does SMC on-off L, not only does this power button on the computer, I'll show you the power button, not only does my power button just turn the computer on, the power button also has the capability to reset my SMC. And the SMC on-off L signal is going to be present on pin 5. And if we take a look at pin 5, that was the pin that was corroded. So we went over the board with the proper amount of flux, none of that Paul shit. We made sure we used the proper amount of flux, because we're not going to give people on this channel the idea that they got to buy less flux, because you know that's one of our main revenue streams, Paul. You gotta stop that shit. Anyway, we used a proper amount of flux to redo this connector. So I added solder to a bunch of the pins. I then wicked that solder away, and then I added solder again, and then I kind of cleaned it a little with the hot air. I'm going to give it one more cleaning with the hot air later. Then this is going to go through the ultrasonic cleaning. We are going to touch up any of these areas, even though this section of the board is working, and that's working. We're going to touch that stuff up later to make sure that it looks better, because I could leave the board like that, but that's kind of mean and messed up. We want to make sure that this board goes back to the customer in a condition where it is actually going to last for a long time. I want all of my customers to be happy. I don't want there to just be a large percentage of users. I don't want a small percentage of people to have problems. I don't want a small percentage to have problems. I want to be happy people. And by the way, we changed a couple of things in the stream settings, so do let me know if you are watching this live, if the streams are showing up in better quality than they were before. I'm using libx264 rather than that NVEnc junk. We're going to be using that to stream, and NVEnc is only going to be for recording the the quantizer 1 copy for archival purposes that I edit. Because there if I'm using constant quantizer, I don't care which encoder I'm using. But for the low bitrate streams, I want to use the best encoder that I can. And if you want to watch any of this stuff in an environment where there are less advertisements or higher quality, but please, I urge you to check out boards.rossmangroup.com. On boards.rossmangroup.com, the videos are sorted by the model of the board, so you can go through every single model board, or you can check by the problem that you have with your board. So you can scroll here and you can see X on battery, this rail missing, that rail missing, no keyboard, no trackpad, green light missing, battery not charging, random kernel panics. And when you click on any one of these issues, it'll present you with a playlist that shows you all of the videos that I've made related to that issue. And this is in a YouTube-free environment. So not only do you not have to deal with pre-roll or post-roll ads, but you also get to deal with a higher quality of video, since these videos are compressed by Vimeo, not by YouTube, where it gives you just a little bit of better better quality. And above all, again, I pay $979 a year for my videos to be hosted on Vimeo, and there's no monetization. I get paid by YouTube for my videos to be on YouTube with monetization. So I lose money when people decide to view on Vimeo, but I make money when people decide to view on YouTube. And I am still suggesting that you stop watching my videos on YouTube and start watching them on Vimeo. Should tell you something about the amount of respect I have for Google. So that's one board out of the queue. And as always, I hope you learned something. Thank you very much for watching. And if you like, before it goes out of stock, don't delay. Get your ultrasonic cleaners that are open box or your 64 gigabytes of fuck Apple RAM today on store.rossmangroup.com. Not only do we have ultrasonic cleaners that are available at very low prices. These ultrasonics are 50% off. Somebody actually just bought the P1200 a few minutes ago, so the only thing we have left is the P500 H45 and this P230. Not only can you get an open box ultrasonic cleaner for 50% off as long as you're willing to do a local pickup. These are local pickup only. There is no box. You must pick up the cleaner. But we are also selling 64 gigabytes of fuck Apple RAM. This is not Apple RAM. We do not want you to be confused and believe that this is Apple RAM. This RAM will not work in a MacBook. This is not Apple RAM. This is fuck Apple RAM. Hundreds of millions of people around the globe have computers with Apple RAM in them. But today is your limited time opportunity to put genuine OEM Rossmann Group fuck Apple RAM inside your machine. Don't delay. Buy today. All right. With that, we move on to the next MacBook. Vroom. Actually, it looks like right now it is 1 in the morning. So we're not going to be moving on to the next MacBook because it's 1 a.m. And 1 a.m. is the time at which somebody should go to sleep. So I'm not going to move on to the next MacBook. What I'm going to do is go home. And I'll see you in the next one. I will read through some of your chats before I go. It's 1 a.m. Somebody says, put it back together. Can you post it? No. We have a department for that. This is the fan spin department. We have another department that deals with testing and putting it back together. I get fan spin, I'm done. That's boss privilege right there. Boss privilege is not putting things back together. And boss privilege, I'm the only one in the store that's allowed to say fan spin, I'm done. Totally looking to get in the border pit once I move. I just don't want to pay for something, then have to lug it 2K miles. I think Hi is a bot. Hi is not a bot. Although he can pretend to be a robot at times. Hi says everything is wrong with Staten Island. I agree. I can't think of a single positive thing about Staten Island. I spent 17 years in that garbage dump. I don't mean that as a subjective insult. I mean that objectively. The garbage dump was there. You could see it from space. If you went to the Staten Island Mall in the summertime, it constantly smelled like shit. I'm sure the personalities of the many of the individuals that I grew up with that I thought were strange or weird or mean or dumb I probably shouldn't have been blaming it on them. It's not their fault. They grew up in a chemically disadvantaged environment. I mean, granted, I grew up in that same environment. It would explain a lot about me, but when you live in a steaming dump heap, like, steaming crap heap like Staten Island, it's not their fault. They didn't ask. It wasn't their fault. It's like kids that grew up around lead paint. It wasn't their fault. All right. So we'll work on this tomorrow, and I'll see you later.